I'm cheap and I don't like spending a lot of money on shoes. That's just the truth. Picked these up about a week ago and these are pretty cool. Like these, really comparable to the originals, but there are some differences that are noticeable. These are the Gamma Blues. One of the biggest and clear differences, you can probably peep it now, is right here on the bottom. That little checkered pattern, when you look at the originals, that pattern is like a lot darker. It's not really, it's sort of dark and it's textured a little bit more. But as you can see with this one is more like reversed. It's not as dark, it's more gray than it is, or silver than it is that black. And on here, it's like a dark gray and black, almost like a carbon fiber texture, the way it looks. The shoe is very comparable, but there is that particular difference. Everything else checks out. It seems pretty comparable to the originals. I was noticing that this part here seems to kind of dip a little bit less than the originals do. And also the original, the blue at the bottom of mine is a bit more saturated. It's a bit more blue than the original. The original is a bit more washed out, translucent, and it's more of like a dark iced blue versus this sort of this is almost like a royal, the way it comes off, like a really dark royal blue. But those are some of the differences. Everything else is very comparable to the original. Get the logo on the back. Right here is kind of centered. It stretches for a decent width of that back part of the shoe. Looking at the original, it does roughly about the same. And that bottom of that 3 is right close to that basketball logo, part of the basketball that's on that logo. And here it's sitting up a little higher. So you can see that there's a difference with that. So there are some differences. But with the Gamma Blues, looking at on StockX right now, picking those up, you're looking at about $560 for that shoe. Whereas for these, I paid about $63 for these. Very comparable, much cheaper. And so for those differences, is it worth it for me? And not really. If the differences were just like completely 2 different shoes, then yeah, I'd understand. It's just like, all right, that's not the same shoe at all. You need to get a completely different shoe, because that isn't it. Now here is one of the Yeezy foam runners, and I picked up a pair online that I thought were pretty comparable. Looking at this, is not a lot of differences that's happening here. This looks really similar, and I just wasn't seeing a ton of difference for this shoe. I paid about $13 for these. Right now, this same exact shoe online is priced at $352. That is including delivery and an estimated tax, which will take this up to $408 for the exact same shoe. $13 versus $408. And there's not a lot different happening. There may be some subtle things that I'm noticing, but for the most part, this is the same shoe. Also, it's not like these shoes are made in some fancy, luxurious location. A lot of these shoes are made in China, Vietnam. So here I got a pair of shoes that are really strikingly close to the 450 Yeezys. I think these are like the multicolor, or I forgot what they were called. I have this pulled up online. This is going, the same shoe is going for $150. So let's check here. This looks like the inside. So that's really sort of comparable to that design on the inside or on the side. This here is the toe. Looks really close to that. Very good and close in that resemblance. Here is the bottom of the shoe, and this is just the shoe overall, if I can get my coordination together. But very comparable in likeness to the original. One thing I will say may be a difference is here, I don't think that cuts down as deep or as straight. It isn't so 90-degree on the original shoe. I want to say this kind of comes across a bit more flush straight across. That's one of the biggest differences that I've noticed. Again, I paid maybe 20 or 30 for these. Super comfortable. Feel like I'm walking on nothing. In comparison to the 150 that they want on this site, and who knows how much anywhere else. These shoes are going $219, $293 on StockX. I'm seeing these shoes ranging from anywhere from $150 to about $370. I know the all black ones are like $370, $380. And my main point being is that a lot of these shoes are made and manufactured in areas where the real and the original shoes are made. And so there isn't much of a huge difference as we would really want it to be. A lot of these companies are based in the same area and they're making the same products. It's just more so like the quality control that's going to come in and make sure that the shoe is like supposed to be A1 up to their standards. But let's be clear here, even the original shoes that we're buying, when we get them and wear them for real, they're not lasting. These shoes they're doing okay. They're doing what a shoe's supposed to do. But none of these shoes are just like withstanding the test of time. A lot of these shoe collectors don't even want to wear the shoes because they know they're going to wear down. They don't even want to really get the shoe dirty at all because the shoe is a shoe. It's a shoe. It's going to wear down. If I can take care of the shoe and it lasts a few years, cool. That's kind of what I need. That's kind of what most of my shoes are going to do. Last a few years because I'm going to wear them. But we got to realize, man, a lot of this stuff is coming from the same place, coming from some of the same countries. There isn't a lot of differences. And the differences that we did notice, because we found differences in all of these shoes. But the main thing is none of those differences were worth the price markup. I was noticing that the bottom of this is different from the original. The original, that little part right there, is darker. And so, do I want to pay $500 more to have a darker side right here on the bottom of the sole? Not yet. I am noticing that the logo placement is a little different. This sits a bit lower or this sits a bit higher. Do I want to pay an extra $500 some for that difference in that markup? No. I did notice that this doesn't come down as far on the original shoe. It comes up a little bit more. Do I want to pay the extra $200-$300? Not really. I did notice that on the back part of this, it doesn't come out as far on the original. The originals kind of drops down a bit more flush. Do I want to pay the extra money to pick that up? Not really. I mean, it's a shoe made of foam, so no. And like, I get it. You know, I understand supporting the originals and getting the real thing, and there is a sense of pride that can come with that because I've had the real ones before. I've had some real versions of shoes before, so I get that. And I've seen, you know, quality that was low versus the original. I had a pair of Barkleys. I had the real ones and I had the, you know, the little okie dokes. And I got them from this little flea market that was in town. It was like $30. So I got two of them. It was the little elephant foot looking ones. And I love those, especially with a pair of nice sweats. I used to love wearing those. And I was playing basketball, ripped right through the shoe. Just the material was so cheap. It was a blaring difference. But I've noticed that over the years, Replicas has been stepping their game up, and they've been kind of straightening up a lot of those discrepancies. And so I went to go and check these guys out. And so far, these seem solid. These seem like a solid replica of that shoe, really solid. And so I'm gonna wear these a little bit more and just get a good feel for them, and then I can wear these wherever I want because I only pay so much for them, and I don't have to worry about trying to preserve the shoe because I can just pick up another pair because the price was a human price. But if I had paid $500 for those, I'm only wanting to bring those out on special occasions, for special reasons. I'm not wanting to get those dirty. I'm not wanting to do anything for real besides look cute in those if I spent $500+ for them. Those shoes are going to always be on some kind of shelf or a casing or something like that, or in the box. And with me, I don't have to do that. Stuff be coming from the same place, from the same manufacturers, using a lot of the same materials, with a few exceptions of, a few materials here and there. But the differences just aren't, it isn't enough to justify that markup in that price. Or at least for me, it isn't. If you disagree, let me know why below. Give me your reason, like, hey, I disagree with you. I support the originals and this is why I do it, And let me know what your favorite Jordan is, just drop down in the comments. If you agree, let me know why. Let me know what your reason is, and let me know what your favorite Jordan is in the comment. My favorites has been like the 12s. I really love the way the 12s are. I feel like they could have gotten way more creative with the 12. I feel like they could have gotten to the point where they start doing like a skyline design inside of that midsole. Like, I feel like they could have gotten way crazier with the colors and the colorways. I feel like the way that the shoe is made is just made for creativity. A great blank slate type of model and design for that. So those are one of my favorites. But that is it for this video, you guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys soon. Peace.